Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest lessons a person can learn in life is that true strength comes from mastering your reactions, not from controlling other people. Most of us spend years believing that our peace depends on how others treat us. We think we will be happy when people respect us, agree with us, appreciate us, and behave exactly the way we expect. But life teaches us a different reality. The moment you tie your peace to the actions of others, you surrender control of your happiness. Every day, we encounter situations that test our patience. Someone speaks to us disrespectfully. Someone criticizes us unfairly. Someone misunderstands our intentions. Someone tries to provoke us. At that moment, we have a choice. We can react emotionally or we can respond with wisdom. That choice determines whether we remain in control of our lives or become prisoners of our emotions. The truth is that anger often feels powerful in the moment, but it is usually a sign that someone else has gained influence over your state of mind. The person who can make you angry can control your emotions. The person who can disturb your peace can influence your behavior. The strongest individuals understand that their emotional state is too valuable to be placed in someone else's hands. Think about how much energy people waste carrying anger. A negative comment made in 10 seconds can occupy someone's mind for 10 days. A small disagreement can become a burden carried for years. A single moment of disrespect can create endless frustration. Meanwhile, life continues moving forward. Opportunities pass by. Time disappears. Precious moments are lost because people remain trapped in emotions that serve no purpose. Successful people understand something different. They understand that not everything deserves a reaction. Not every criticism requires an answer. Not every insult requires a response. Not every disagreement requires a battle. Sometimes the wisest action is silence. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. Many people confuse emotional reactions with courage. They think becoming angry proves strength. They think shouting louder proves confidence. But genuine confidence is remaining calm when others expect you to lose control. Real strength is maintaining composure when circumstances tempt you to react emotionally. Imagine standing in front of a storm. You cannot stop the wind. You cannot stop the rain. You cannot control the clouds. But you can control how you respond to the storm. Human behavior is similar. You cannot control what everyone says. You cannot control what everyone thinks. You cannot control how everyone acts. But you can always control your response. This understanding changes everything. The moment you stop trying to control others, you begin gaining control over yourself. Instead of focusing on what others should do, you focus on how you should react. Instead of wasting energy on frustration, you invest energy in growth. Instead of becoming consumed by anger, you become focused on purpose. One of the reasons people become easily offended is because they expect too much from others. They expect everyone to be fair. They expect everyone to be honest. They expect everyone to understand them. They expect everyone to behave according to their standards. But the world is filled with people from different backgrounds, different experiences, different beliefs, and different levels of awareness. When expectations become unrealistic, disappointment becomes inevitable. Maturity begins When you accept reality as it is, rather than demanding reality become what you want it to be. People will sometimes disappoint you. They will make mistakes. They will act unfairly. They will misunderstand your intentions. This does not mean life is against you. It simply means people are human. Every person you meet is carrying struggles you may never see. Some are fighting battles at home. Some are struggling financially. Some are dealing with fear, stress, anxiety, or disappointment. Often the negativity they express has more to do with their own pain than with your value. When you understand this, compassion begins replacing anger. You stop taking everything personally. You stop assuming every negative action is an attack on you. You begin seeing people more clearly. You recognize that hurt people often hurt people. Frustrated people often spread frustration. Insecure people often criticize others. Understanding this does not excuse bad behavior, but it helps you avoid becoming emotionally trapped by it. Another important lesson is recognizing that your reaction often creates the outcome. Two people can experience the same criticism and achieve completely different results. One becomes angry, defensive, and bitter. The other remains calm, learns what is useful, and continues moving forward. The event was identical. The difference was the response. Life is not determined solely by what happens to us. Life is shaped by how we interpret and respond to what happens. The most successful leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, and visionaries in history faced criticism. They faced rejection. They faced doubt. They faced opposition. If they had reacted emotionally to every obstacle, they would never have achieved greatness. Their success came from maintaining focus while others tried to distract them. Focus is impossible when anger controls the mind. When you are angry, your judgment becomes clouded, your decisions become emotional, your perspective becomes limited. Anger convinces you that immediate reactions are necessary when patience would serve you better. Many regrets in life are born from temporary emotions and permanent decisions. That is why emotional discipline is one of the most valuable skills anyone can develop. Every difficult person becomes an opportunity to strengthen patience. Every criticism becomes an opportunity to strengthen confidence. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen character. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Begin asking, what is this teaching me? That simple shift transforms obstacles into lessons. You become less concerned about changing others and more committed to improving yourself. You become less focused on blame and more focused on growth. You become less reactive and more intentional. The day you realize that your peace is your responsibility, everything begins to change. You stop waiting for perfect circumstances. You stop waiting for perfect people. You stop allowing temporary situations to determine your emotional state. You understand that your greatest power is not found in controlling what happens around you. Your greatest power is found in controlling what happens within you. You become steady when others become emotional. You become focused when others become distracted. You become peaceful when others become frustrated. And through that emotional mastery, you develop a level of strength that no criticism, no insult, and no difficult person can ever take away from you. Ladies and gentlemen, One of the most liberating truths you can discover in life is that people do not always act based on what is right. They act based on what they know, what they believe, what they have experienced, and the level of awareness they have reached. The moment you truly understand this principle, you begin to free yourself from unnecessary anger, disappointment, and frustration. Most conflicts in life happen because we expect others to think the way we think. We assume they should see the world exactly as we do. We believe they should understand what seems obvious to us. We expect them to react the way we would react. But life does not work that way. Every human being is shaped by different experiences. Every person has walked a different path. Some grew up surrounded by encouragement. Others grew up surrounded by criticism. Some were taught patience. Others were taught aggression. Some learned understanding. Others learned fear. The result is that people see the same situation through completely different lenses. Imagine giving two people the same challenge. One sees an opportunity. The other sees a threat. One responds with confidence. The other responds with fear. The challenge is identical, but their awareness and understanding create completely different reactions. The same principle applies to every interaction in life. When someone insults you, it often reflects their level of awareness. When someone spreads negativity, it often reflects their level of awareness. When someone acts selfishly, dishonestly, or unfairly, it often reflects their level of awareness. People can only give what they possess internally. A person filled with peace naturally spreads peace. A person filled with bitterness naturally spreads bitterness. A person filled with confidence encourages others. A person filled with insecurity often tries to bring others down. Many people spend years becoming angry at individuals who simply do not know any better. They expect maturity from someone who has never developed it. They expect wisdom from someone who has never learned it. They expect emotional discipline from someone who has never practiced it. This is like becoming angry at a child for not understanding advanced mathematics. The child is not refusing to understand. The child simply has not reached that level yet. In the same way, many adults are emotionally undeveloped. They may be successful financially. They may hold important positions. They may appear powerful on the outside. But emotionally and spiritually, they may still be operating from fear, ego, insecurity, and limited awareness. Once you recognize this reality, your perspective changes. You stop taking everything personally. You stop assuming every negative action is aimed at you. You stop carrying emotional burdens created by other people's limitations. Instead, you begin observing human behavior with understanding. Think about how many arguments could be avoided if people understood this principle. Most arguments occur because both sides are trying to prove they are right. Neither side is trying to understand. Both are focused on winning rather than learning, but true wisdom does not come from winning every argument. It comes from understanding why people think the way they do. A person may criticize your dreams because they have never pursued their own. A person may doubt your abilities because they doubt themselves. A person may reject change because they fear uncertainty. A person may attack your success because it reminds them of opportunities they never pursued. Their behavior is often a reflection of their own internal world. This understanding does not mean you agree with negative behavior. It does not mean you tolerate injustice or allow people to mistreat you. It simply means you stop allowing their behavior to control your emotional state. One of the greatest signs of maturity is the ability to separate understanding from agreement. You can understand why someone behaves a certain way without approving of their actions. You can recognize someone's pain without accepting their negativity. You can show compassion without sacrificing your boundaries. This balance is what emotionally strong people develop over time. The reality is that every person is at a different stage of growth. Some people are actively learning, some are resisting growth, some are becoming more aware every day. Others remain trapped in habits they have carried for decades. You cannot force awareness upon someone who is not ready for it. You cannot force wisdom into a closed mind. You cannot force understanding into a heart that refuses to listen. Many people waste enormous amounts of energy trying to change others. They spend years arguing, convincing, and fighting battles that cannot be won because growth must come from within. Real change happens when people become ready to change themselves. Until that moment arrives, no amount of pressure can transform them. Understanding this truth helps you conserve your energy. Instead of becoming frustrated by what you cannot control, you focus on what you can control: your attitude, your mindset, your character, your response, your growth. These are the areas where your power truly exists. Another reason this principle is so important is because it creates empathy. Empathy allows you to see beyond behavior and understand the person behind it. Often, the angry person is carrying hidden pain. The rude person may be struggling with insecurity. The critical person may be battling feelings of inadequacy. The controlling person may be living in fear. The negative person may have experienced repeated disappointment. Again, this does not excuse harmful behavior, but it helps explain it. And when you understand behavior, you become less likely to react emotionally. You begin seeing people differently. Instead of asking, why are they treating me this way? You begin asking, what might they be carrying inside that causes them to behave this way? That single question can transform anger into understanding. History shows that the greatest leaders were not those who hated people for their flaws. They were those who understood people despite their flaws. They understood that human beings are imperfect. They understood that growth takes time. They understood that awareness develops gradually. Most importantly, they understood that lasting influence comes from example, not force. The greatest way to deal with negativity is not to become negative yourself. The greatest way to deal with anger is not to become angry yourself. The greatest way to deal with ignorance is not to become frustrated by it. It is to rise above it. It is to become an example of the awareness you wish to see in others. Because every time you choose patience over anger, understanding over judgment, and wisdom over reaction, you demonstrate a higher level of awareness yourself. And that awareness becomes your greatest source of peace. When you truly understand that people act according to their level of awareness, you stop expecting everyone to think, behave, and respond as you do. You stop carrying resentment toward people who are simply operating from their current understanding of life. You learn to protect your peace, maintain your focus, and continue moving forward, regardless of how others choose to behave. The more deeply you understand people, the less power they have to disturb your mind, shake your confidence, or steal your inner calm. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful transformations a person can make in life is learning to see difficulties not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid challenges, avoid criticism, avoid discomfort, and avoid pain. Yet history repeatedly shows us that the strongest, wisest, and most successful individuals were shaped not by easy circumstances but by difficult ones. Every challenge carries within it a lesson. Every setback contains an opportunity. Every disappointment holds the potential to make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is not the difficulty they face. The difference is how they choose to respond to it. Many people see problems as punishments. They ask, why is this happening to me? They become frustrated, angry, and discouraged. They focus all their attention on the pain of the situation. As a result, they miss the hidden value within the experience. Successful people ask a different question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this teaching me? That small shift in perspective changes everything. Life is the greatest teacher, but its lessons often arrive disguised as challenges. Patience is learned through waiting. Courage is developed through fear. Strength is built through struggle. Wisdom is gained through mistakes. Resilience is formed through adversity. Imagine a piece of steel being forged. Before it becomes strong, it must pass through intense heat. Before it becomes useful, it must endure pressure. Human character develops in much the same way. Difficult moments reveal strengths that comfortable moments can never uncover. Think about the people you admire most. The individuals who inspire others, lead with confidence, and remain calm under pressure did not develop those qualities during easy times. They developed them through challenges. Every setback became a lesson. Every obstacle became training. Every hardship contributed to their growth. The same opportunity exists for every person. Whenever someone criticizes you, you have two choices. You can become defensive and angry, or you can examine whether there is something valuable you can learn. Even unfair criticism can teach emotional control. Even negative experiences can strengthen patience. When difficulties arise, many people focus on what they have lost. They focus on the opportunity that despaired, the relationship that ended, the plan that failed, or the expectations that were not fulfilled. While these losses are real, focusing exclusively on them prevents growth. Growth begins when attention shifts from loss to learning. Every experience leaves behind a lesson. The question is whether we choose to discover it. One of the greatest advantages of turning difficulties into growth is that it gives purpose to struggle. Challenges become easier to endure when you understand that they are contributing to your development. Instead of viewing hardship as meaningless pain, you begin seeing it as preparation. Many of life's greatest opportunities arrive disguised as difficulties. Rejection teaches independence. Failure teaches improvement. Criticism teaches emotional discipline. Delays teach patience. Uncertainty teaches faith in your ability to adapt. Without challenges, growth remains limited. Consider how muscles are developed. They grow stronger only when resistance is applied. Without resistance, there is no growth. Human character follows the same principle. The challenges we face create opportunities to develop qualities that comfort can never provide. Unfortunately, many people allow difficulties to make them bitter instead of better. They allow setbacks to destroy their confidence. They allow criticism to weaken their determination. They allow failures to define their identity. But failure is not identity. Failure is feedback. A setback is not the end of the journey. It is information that helps guide the next step. The most successful people understand this principle deeply. They do not see failure as proof that they should quit. They see failure as proof that they are learning. Every mistake becomes data. Every setback becomes experience. Every challenge becomes preparation for future success. This mindset creates extraordinary resilience. Resilient people understand that temporary difficulties do not determine permanent outcomes. They know that today's struggle does not define tomorrow's possibilities. They refuse to allow present circumstances to limit future potential. Life becomes much easier when you stop expecting every experience to be comfortable. Comfort is pleasant, but growth often exists beyond comfort. Every significant achievement requires uncertainty. Every meaningful goal requires effort. Every worthwhile dream requires persistence. The path to growth is rarely easy, but it is always valuable. Another important lesson is that difficult people can become some of our greatest teachers. The people who challenge our patience teach patience. The people who test our self control teach discipline. The people who create obstacles teach perseverance. Without realizing it, many of the individuals who frustrate us are providing opportunities for personal development. When viewed from this perspective, life changes dramatically. Instead of becoming angry at every inconvenience, you begin asking how the experience can help you grow. Instead of resenting challenges, you begin appreciating the lessons hidden within them. Instead of feeling defeated by obstacles, you begin recognizing them as opportunities to become stronger. This perspective does not remove difficulty from life. Challenges still exist. Pain still exists. Disappointment still exists. But your relationship with those experiences changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You begin seeing yourself as a student of life. Every challenge becomes a classroom. Every setback becomes instruction. Every hardship becomes preparation. One of the most powerful truths in life is that growth is often invisible while it is happening. During difficult times, it may feel as though nothing positive is occurring. It may feel as though progress has stopped. Yet beneath the surface, important changes are taking place. Patience is developing, wisdom is increasing, character is strengthening, perspective is expanding, confidence is growing. Many of the qualities that determine long-term success are built quietly during difficult seasons. This is why emotionally strong people refuse to allow temporary circumstances to define their outlook. They understand that storms do not last forever. Challenges eventually pass, difficult situations eventually change, but the lessons learned during those experiences remain. The strength developed remains. The wisdom gained remains. The resilience built remains. At the end of the day, every challenge presents a choice. You can allow the experience to weaken you, or you can allow it to strengthen you. You can focus on the pain, or you can focus on the lesson. You can become discouraged by obstacles, or you can use them as stepping stones toward greater growth. The people who achieve extraordinary lives are not those who avoid difficulties. They are the ones who learn to transform every difficulty into greater strength, deeper wisdom, stronger character, and a more powerful version of themselves.